Going and feeding somebody or grabbing somebody Taco Bell in the evening that's hunkered down under a shelter, you're literally bringing that to the feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes, you're helping out your common man or somebody that's struggling.
Yeah.
But do unto the least of these as you do unto me. That's just something that's always been very foundational in everything I do philanthropically. And it's Hans Zimmer.
Dude, I know you can't go wrong.
Like, that melody is just...
Oh.
Na, 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 na. Oh, it's just, oh. No, I'm kidding. And then Beckham is going to open that up and be like, oh, basketball, oh, that'd be so cool. I'm like, man, if only we had a hoop,
bro.
And the's gonna be a hoop in the backyard with the ball in it.
And what you don't know is he's one of the active listeners of this podcast.
Beckham, you turn this off right now. Does that mean it is the first day of Christmas or it's the 12th day of Christmas?
I don't know. We'll see.
We need to look that up.
We're going to see if there's a partridge in a pear tree outside.
Look that up. Yep,
or
there's got to
12
be.
drummers.
One of the two. It's either the first day with the partridge or 12 with the drum. Wait, 12?
When you see this, though,
yeah.
When you see this, it will be 6 days.
It will be 6 days of Christmas.
So,
ooh.
Yeah.
So, Merry Christmas, guys.
Happy Hanukkah. Merry Yule.
All the things.
So, we're actually going to talk about the origins of Christmas. And we're actually going to kind of go through it because I don't know if you have that family member. Being somebody that has a religious family is very common. Someone's like, you celebrate Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you know how many whatever?
Yeah,
and they just go on a rant and you're like...
I'm happy to say, luckily, I don't.
Really? Oh, bro.
Like, I'll say this. I mean, growing up in and around church, you're taught all the stories, which is great. And obviously, I respect that. I love that that's part of my upbringing.
Yeah.
No, I would say more than anything, it's kind of the opposite. Having more extended family on both Hannah and I's sides that maybe didn't grow up in the church, I would say it's more the church side of it, and the nature of that is more not foundational. How they were brought up, right?
Totally.
It's less the, oh, you're celebrating. It's more like, hey, it's Santa and Frosty and Rudolph and presents, not the origin of Christmas, which I'm super excited that we're gonna dive into.
Yeah, absolutely. Today. So do you actually know? Okay, I'm gonna ask this.
I probably don't. Go ahead.
Do you know the origins of most of our holidays? And also the origins of our calendar? Because they all have to tie in together.
No. Let's go. Let's hear
bro.
it.
Okay. And this is from my
go ahead.
This is from my understanding. I went 4 years Bible college. I dropped out because I got really tired of it. And I didn't see an end. I didn't. Last thing I want is to be like, you've got a degree in biblical science.
You're like, thanks.
What is that good for?
Nothing.
So, yeah, I dropped out. But in it, we actually did history. And one of my favorite things was actually talking about Rome. Okay, Gladiator. Yeah. We're all about it. Yeah. It's that interesting season. So they had their rulers that would come through. And their rulers, the whole point of Rome was they were invading all the other nations. That's why all roads lead to Rome. All these different towns, all these different places were getting invaded and occupied by Rome. How they did that, though, the terms that are used in the Bible are actually Roman terms. So an apostle was an apostle of Rome would go to like a town in the middle of nowhere and be like, hey, by the way, Rome's going to invade in 30 lunar cycles, 60 days or whatever. They're going to come and invade. And on this day when they come to invade, if you have decided to wear the clothing we wear, look like we look, you can have all the benefits that we have, and you will be a citizen of Rome. And those who don't will be slaves. And you will have to fight in the Colosseum, and we will do whatever you want. You have forfeited your right as a human. That's how Rome did it. So they would hold up a sign. And
they said, this is Sparta.
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure, they fought lions and tigers and bears. Oh, my.
Oh, my.
But the sign they would put up was called an epistle. So you ever read, the epistles to the church.
Yep.
Okay, that's a Roman term.
Got it.
The apostles, they would go out and So most of your biblical terms come from Roman culture.
That's awesome.
Okay. So fast forward past, all of a sudden Jesus came, Christianity started growing and growing, and they kept killing a bunch of Christians. I mean, the martyrdom there, I highly recommend the Fox's Book of Martyr. It's incredible. It's got a lot of information on that. But martyrs, it's kind of crazy. They kept on killing Christians, and every time they'd kill one, 100 more Christians would be formed.
Yes, in their wake.
Yeah. So, but that was the trueness of martyrdom. I mean, there's a whole bunch even on that. I'm not going to get lost in that. But it's a kind of a powerful thing. But Caesar after Caesar kept coming through. Not Caesar. That's Greek. Emperor after emperor kept coming through and killing him. Going like, you know what? It was Emperor Constantine said, "I'm tired of killing you. You just keep coming back. Let's make a deal. I'll stop killing you, and we'll occupy you as our primary religion, and we'll add you to our collective, and we'll create Roman Catholicism." And the church leaders went, "Yeah, you're right. We're tired of being murdered.
Yeah. Let's have a conversation."
Yeah. So all of the Jewish beliefs and customs that were of that time got added into the Roman calendar onto all their holidays, which is why you have Resurrection Sunday, also Easter Sunday, also Easter was to Ishtar, the goddess of fertility. Well, the reason that is they occupied that region. They occupied those people and said, "We'll let you worship your people." But then it got so complicated. They're like, let's just make certain days for everything.
Yeah. We'll call it a holy day.
Yes. So Christmas.
Holiday.
Christmas is is the holiday. So does it have paganism? Sure.
Yeah.
Does it matter? That's really up to you.
Sure.
But that's the origins. And I don't think a lot of people know that that's how
that's wild.
The amalgamation of everything kind of came together and got it.
That's a trip, man. Just thinking that. So let's see. So Jesus walked the earth, 2,000 years ago. How old was Rome? Rome was obviously established.
Yeah, I'd have to
well before that.
Yeah, I'd have to look back through my notes for that. But I would say, if I'm not mistaken, they were established for about 100 years at that point. It wasn't the fall. The fall wasn't with Constantine. I believe it was a couple emperors past that. But it is interesting when you kind of start thinking about Christmas. It's like, why are you talking about Rome and gladiators? And
753 BC.
It was when they started? Oh.
Rome founded 753 BC.
When did they fall? I want to say it was certain 100 AD.
I don't want to spend too much time on my phone.
I
wanted to find that out. So, I mean, by the time Jesus walked the earth, Rome was older than the U.S. is.
Yep.
Today.
Yep. Yeah.
Times 3.
So it's when we think of our traditions that we have now, our traditions are bred off of other traditions.
Yeah.
The issue I have is the cancel culture concept of being like, do you know that Christmas trees were used by Druids in the Celtic? And it's like, oh my gosh, I get it.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm doing right now?
Yeah. No, same way, man. Same conversation that many have when Maddie was a mermaid and Beckham wanted to be a ghost for Halloween. It's like no one's dropping down and worshiping the devil himself.
100%.
They're just out trying to get Daddy some Reese's peanut butter cups.
So I'm gonna look right here. So I found Britannica.com, and this is their definition of Christmas, the origins of Christmas, because that was, of course, from the Christian term.
Yep.
I want to know more about, what they're saying. So Christian festival celebrating the birth of Jesus. The English term Christmas means mass on Christ's day. It's a fairly recent origin. The earlier term Yule may have derived from Germanic or Anglo-Saxon, which refer to the feast of winter solstice. The corresponding terms in other languages, Navidad in Spanish, Natale in Italian, Noel in French, and all probably denote nativity. The German word Weihnachten denotes hallowed night, since the early 20th century. Christmas has also been a secular family holiday observed by Christians and non-Christians alike, devoid of Christians' elements and marked by an increasingly elaborate exchange of gifts. In this secular Christmas celebration, a mythical figure named Santa Claus plays a pivotal role. So, again,
wow, man, you just touched on like 4 different things and 4 different origins, and one being a holy night and one being Yule, a celebration, festival, celebrating the winter solstice, and then all of this comes to, and which is why it makes sense to call it a holy day or a holiday, because it's multiple cultures,
correct,
through multiple timelines, through multiple centuries, finding a reason to celebrate.
Yeah,
holy, and some just almost like another additional Thanksgiving feast right before everything freezes over.
And if you deep dive into a lot of it, like, I mean, even
that's awesome. I love that.
Like even Krampus. Mm-hmm. Okay, that is an actual
I know.
legit German folklore story.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where we get the idea of Santa sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake, like that.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's not 100%. Oh, that's my theory of being like, I've seen a lot of like kind of Germanic, like Anglo-Saxon stuff, and a lot of it was like, if you go outside, it will kill you, and you're like, oh snap! Just read Beowulf and the atrocities he murders. Those were stories they were telling to kids, trying to keep them from going, don't go in the woods because there's probably a bear that can eat you.
Here's why. Yeah.
But instead of going that, it's like, hey, don't go in the woods because there's a bear. And this bear is actually the spirit of the wind. And and you're like, oh. It's much more interesting.
I'm not going to the woods.
And then there's that one, dragons are our friends. And you're like, wait, what?
Hey, all good. Whatever. All through all of the years since the beginning of time, there was probably parents that have needed a way to get kids home before nightfall.
Did you ever see the movie? Probably one of the most interesting origins of Santa that I've seen was the movie Klaus.
No, I've heard of it. I haven't.
It's become my favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah,
it has just it's streamlined.
What does it dive into?
It's about a postman who is like, his dad is the postmaster general, and he knows that he's going to get this huge inheritance. He doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah,
he's a spoiled rotten brat, and he's failing at everything. His dad's like, okay, there's this island up in the middle of nowhere that you have to create a mail house or you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Postal delivery building.
Yeah.
You have to go there and create, and I need 6,000 letters sent from that place within a year. If you can do that, you can come home. And when you're home, you're officially the guy. I'll leave you alone. You worked hard. And if you can't, you will lose your entire heritage.
Wow.
And this guy throws a fit and goes there. And then you find out that the town is in its own civil war. They hate each other. And the kids, all they know is that.
Yeah.
And he runs into this toy maker who's got these toys going, I need to get rid of them. I have X amount of toys. And when I'm done, I'm done.
That's awesome.
That's the beginning. And
that's cool. That's cool.
I don't want to ruin anything.
And he's setting up distribution centers so he can go in and bring peace to the war and help the toy maker move toys. And
it shows the act of kindness and shows what an act of kindness can really do. And it made me, and J.K. Simmons plays Santa.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. What are your three top 1, 2, or 3?
Sure.
Gotta watch it during Christmas season. Christmas movies for you.
Oh, Die Hard.
Gotta love Die Hard.
Right. I watched that the other day.
Die Hard just
feels so festive.
And yes, it's a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. It's not even a debate. Why are we debating this?
Nope. It's Nakatomi Plaza.
The Jim Carrey Grinch.
Have you seen the new Grinch?
I like it.
The new Grinch was awesome.
It's just not the Jim Carrey.
I respect and enjoy the Jim Carrey Grinch, but this new one kind of swooped me up, and I cried like 3 times. Doesn't take much.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's the trailers. You're like, nope,
bro.
Save it for the movie.
That's the Super Bowl. Super Bowl commercials get me every time.
No, what I like about it is hey, the Grinch, but I feel like at the end of the reason that the story of the Grinch ends with him bringing the toys and everyone holding hands and then showing him cutting, I think it's because it's awkward to continue the story, and the new Grinch is kind of like, well, I did it. Yeah. Bye. And then there's like 10 minutes of like.
Well, it ends with the cutting of the roast
No,
beef.
It's beautiful. But
and he even has the opportunity to like say a little like a toast. Mm-hmm. You know, I enjoyed it.
It's good.
It's Cumberbatch, right?
It is. Oh, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. I'm like, why does it sound like Doctor Strange?
So that one, I grew up with that one. Yeah, I can quote it.
It's fun
from beginning to end.
But what will I wear? Yeah, it's kind of great.
It's legend, man.
And then hearing that Jim Carrey had to go into hair and makeup for that costume 100 times. you hear videos of him talking about it, and he was like, at the time I was chain smoking, so people were watching behind set. The Grinch walked by, and he's like, then the little hairs on my like goat fur fingers would start to singe back, so he'd have to like change out. It's like, that's hilarious.
That
like
is
all of the pomp
hilarious.
and circumstance that went into making that movie is.
And my third movie,
that lure's fun.
my third movie is probably on your list.
Better be.
It's A Wonderful Life.
Oh, you can't go wrong.
Well, I mean,
I think we're gonna watch that on the 21st or 22nd. It's a Wonderful Life is. I love it in It's a Wonderful Life. He's a mortgage lender.
It's you, bro.
It's me, bro.
Don't have a midlife
every time I yeah, right. Help me, Clarence. Help me, Clarence. Every time I watch that movie, man, like that's a movie. If you want to,
safe word?
Not that you Clarence is my safe word. Not that you want to see me cry, but if you ever just, I mean, take a peek at me during It's a Wonderful Life. There's like 4 different scenes that I'm like, I like hide my face from everybody else. It's Niagara Falls.
Oh, bro, it's
my 3.
Yeah, what are your 3?
Are It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Family Man.
Oh, Family Man's really good.
Family Man is.
Well, it does have. I mean, it does.
Oh no! It take Christmas. It's winter season.
Yeah.
There is Christmas morning in it.
Yeah.
That we always watch that like between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Smart.
So I'll call it that.
Yeah.
And then for me, oh my gosh, I can go so many different ways with my last one, but it's probably The Holiday. I absolutely love The Holiday.
Absolutely.
And it's Hans Zimmer.
Dude, I know you can't go wrong.
Like that melody is just.
Oh.
No. Oh, it's just No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, wow. Like, he just hears that. Crying. It's game over.
Just give me some Hans Zimmer on piano and then done.
This isn't Christmas themed, but there is something I'm going to say. There is a Hans Zimmer movie. There's a movie that Hans Zimmer did the music for that I think is hot garbage, but I love the music.
Newer?
No, older. It's when he was starting. Well, I mean, I can't say. I mean, it was after Lion
Which?
King. Mission Impossible 2. He wrote the music for that.
He did not.
He did. Look it up, bro.
Doesn't Mission Impossible 2 have Limp Bizkit in it?
There has the musicals themes were his. The music.
Really?
Yeah. He wrote the musical themes for it.
Hans. What happened?
No. It's good. Like,
I'm so envious of you that you went and saw him live. Like the fact that you've seen him live, it makes me so angry. And Hannah and I, we were.
He's going to be touring again.
He had toured, I think, through either October or November.
Yep.
And we watched a movie that had a Hans Zimmer score to it, and I was like, gosh, I wonder when he's going to like be around like next. And I literally looked it up, and he was at not the Oakland Coliseum, but at S&P Center in San Jose.
Yep.
Like literally the next night. And I was like, oh my gosh. And obviously it came and went. And the next thing you know, he's in like Berlin and then in Europe for like the next 10 months. I'm just like, he ain't getting any younger. We got to, I will see Hans Zimmer live, and it's going to change my life.
I'm adding that to I will find it. I keep up on it. My phone is always like, did you know Hans Zimmer farted in France? I'm like, no, that's
oh my gosh, I needed to know that.
Yeah.
Hans, he's my.
I'm not going to say stalking, right?
Yeah, no, I get it. Both my brothers are both big, and you can't go wrong with John Williams. I love John Williams.
More like overtly observant.
Yes.
In close quarters.
Overtly observant. Hans Zimmer is definitely though my composer of. If I had a composer of choice,
sure,
he and Danny Elfman, but
see,
can't go wrong with Danny Elfman.
You know, okay, and there is a fourth one on my list that I'm gonna hit.
Christmas movie?
It is a Christmas movie, and you're gonna be like,
so yours so far were It's a Wonderful Life, Die Hard, and the Jim Carrey's The Grinch.
Yep.
Christmas
Carol. But it's The Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh, no. I can't do Muppets. You lost me at Muppets.
Michael Caine being angrily and mean to Muppets is probably the funniest.
I would watch it just for that because I'm a big...
You're not a Muppet guy?
I've never been a Muppet guy.
Really?
As soon as they said that in Disneyland they're going to be removing some kind of Muppet experience to expand Monsters universe, I'm like, thank God.
You're a monster.
And everybody's like, that's Jim Henson's last. I'm like... Wow. May he rest in peace.
Wow.
Sorry if you're watching this and you're a really big Muppets fan.
Yeah.
Do I get a fourth?
Here.
If you got a fourth, then I'll take it.
Don't worry, I'm gonna try and crap on it.
No, it's gonna be uncrappable, man. It's just gonna be on such a upper echelon. You're just gonna be like,
if you say Frozen, I'm gonna have to let it
be Frozen.
No,
I'm kidding.
I'm letting it go.
You know what? Gosh, now I need to. Or you know,
throw
what?
in the comments.
I may. Yeah. I want to hear from y'all. Mine's definitely the holiday, Family Man, and It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, those are just
legend.
Those are stellar movies. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take my fourth option.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna make my 1, 2, and 3 in bold. That
wow.
There you go. I'm not gonna spread it out. I'm not gonna spread it out to 4 like you did.
Asked
I'm
me.
not gonna water it down and be like, I have the top 5 maybe. Mine's 3. Dead set. You're just wrong here.
Or
moving right along. No, just kidding.
or you just couldn't think of one.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit it in the comment section. I'm gonna hit it in the comment section like, I don't know how I forgot about X, Y, or Z, but you know me well.
Absolutely. I'm like, and the BS meter is rising through.
We're in the red. Let's dive into. I want to hit really quick the story of Christmas, the original story of Christmas.
Oh yeah, man. Well, the Christian telling of Christmas.
Yes. I was trying to think of the proper words.
No, it's Christian. I mean, look, man. If you've listened to us long enough at this point, you just have to accept we're Christians. Is what we do. Yeah. It's who we are.
We are believers. Are we perfect? No, and that's
which is the point.
That is the point. The point is to be not perfect, but there was a perfect man.
But we also do know, like, we're self-aware. We know the BS.
Yeah,
we get it. Mm-hmm. You know, like, you should be able to eat a candy cane, and someone be like, "Do you know that candy canes were from the Nordic?" Yeah. You're like,
no
one cares.
Yep.
Right, and so I do think that we lose the purpose of it, and even through seasons and times. I mean, how many different traditions have changed and how they're different? And I've told you I've told you the Thanksgiving turkey story, right?
No.
Bro, so this is how I see traditions. So there's a story I heard. It's a woman. She just got married to her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And
was she Turkish?
No.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Anyways, so she just got married to her husband, and she's like, I'm going to make a turkey. And so Thanksgiving comes, and her husband's like, I love turkey. The leg is my favorite part. Mm-hmm. You got to give me the leg. She's like, okay, well, we don't do the leg. We cut the legs and wings off, and we throw them away. Those are the wasteful parts of the turkey. We don't do that. My tradition is for my mother that we just cook the
body,
the big body. And he's like, that's my favorite part. She goes, yeah, well, that's what we do. He goes, no. He goes, well, we're going to your family for Thanksgiving beforehand. I'm going to ask. So he goes, and he goes, hey, mother-in-law or mom or whatever. And he goes, hey, so the legs of the turkey? She goes, those are the wasteful parts. We get rid of them. I grew up eating that. Those are the best parts of the turkey. She's like, no, we don't do that. She goes, let me ask grandma. Goes, grandma. Goes, hey, grandma. She's like, yeah. The wings and legs are the wasteful parts of the turkey. And they're like, no, they're not. Well, I always saw you. It's like, no. Well, we had a stove, and the stove was too small to fit the turkey. So we had to cut the wings and legs off and cook them separately. And so you never saw them together. But we always cooked them. And they turned that into a tradition. So that's kind of how I see traditions.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was out of the necessity of the season and era.
And it could have been a mistake. It could have been something that you saw, and now it's your own, and now it's metastasized into its own
which is why I have
awesome.
Which is why I have grace for holidays.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And
that's not my tradition. It's like, well, what is your tradition?
Yeah.
And your tradition is it's an adaptation of an adaptation of an adaptation,
yeah.
And you don't know, like.
Correct. Not everybody celebrates Christmas. They don't rub it in their face, but
no.
By all means, it's a season to give grace. It's a season to give and love on people. That's what it is.
100%.
Which you take that, if you could take that and spread that over the other 364 days of the year, and keep a little holly and jolly with you in the middle of July, then you're really getting it, right? But the Christmas season, that's what everybody says. I mean, it's the most wonderful time of the year because everybody's just a little bit more giving. It's a little bit more warm, a little bit more togetherness.
Sure.
It's just how can you take that sentiment and and build it into more your ordinary life.
Well, I think that's why I like the Grinch story so much, because it's a guy who's so sick of just another present.
Yeah.
Who was always on the outskirts, who just didn't like how everyone was perceiving the holiday. And he's like, this is the biggest fraud. This is the biggest thing. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
But then one moment of kindness changed his whole trajectory.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a telling thing.
Oh, it's
right.
There's a lot there.
And that's, to me, the purpose of the Christmas season. Like, you don't give gifts to get something back. You don't love on somebody. You don't smile at somebody because you need them to smile back at you. If that is the case, we have had plenty of therapists on this podcast. Go find one.
Yep.
Talk with somebody. Get that out, because Christmas is an and. It is not the, right?
I love that.
So if you're like, well, I really need this to be the best Christmas because if it's not, I'm going to hurt myself. Okay, you shouldn't be in that place. You should be balanced to where you're like, man, I'm looking forward to spending time with people.
And maybe the time with people will reveal the conversations that you need to have with them to gain either more understanding or ask for forgiveness or to forgive someone.
Sure.
Right? Because so many people, they dodge and don't look forward to this because of the family aspect, which just breaks my heart for those individuals. Well, right? Which just makes it that much more imperative to love everybody that you encounter.
Yeah.
No matter what. It's truly our greatest calling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Truly our greatest calling, to love everybody that you encounter as your neighbor. And when you do so, when you get the opportunity to do so, it's not lost on me that anytime I have the opportunity to go out and love on somebody at one capacity or another, like Sarah, who was in here last week, right?
Yeah. It's
always just grossly, hugely, incredibly encouraging when I'll make a post like, hey, we're going to raise $1,200 for
how much did
house.
That make, man?
I'm gonna right now. We've actually I haven't even told Sarah this yet. So actually, by the time Sarah sees this, she will have already received the check. We're already past $1,300.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. Our community is incredible.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
just putting it out there and giving people the opportunity to come in and love on people is huge. It's never been lost on me. Do unto the least of these as you're doing unto me. Right.
I'm curious.
Going and feeding somebody or grabbing somebody Taco Bell in the evening that's hunkered down under a shelter. You're literally bringing that to the feet of Jesus.
Yeah.
And yes, you're helping out your common man or somebody that's struggling.
Yeah.
But do unto the least of these as you do unto me. That's just something that's always been very foundational in everything I do philanthropically.
All right. I'm curious. Okay. This is a Cameron question.
What do you got?
So, there's a shift that happens when you're a kid, and it's like, I can't wait to get these presents. I can't wait to get these presents. And then all of a sudden, there is a shift. A year happens, either where you're disappointed in what you got because there was something else that wasn't spoken, or you just grew up a little bit, and you're like, I don't need this. And then you start focusing more on the gift-giving side. At least that's from my experience.
I love it.
When
does that
When was that for you?
I think through my late teens, if not early 20s, watching it started to click. It started to click when I would take more enjoyment watching somebody unwrap something.
Oh, sure.
That they didn't know that you knew that they wanted.
Yeah.
Like I can't even say it. There's something that I got my brother Chris a couple months ago that I was going to get him for Christmas, but then I would have spent way too much money. So his birthday's January 4th. So he's going to get it for his birthday, but he's going to be like floored that he is getting this because he has no idea that I was even in a certain place to pick this up for him.
That's amazing.
So, and I'm I'm more antsy to give him that than anything else. Yeah. Because and my sister-in-law Haley last night was giving me a hard time because my family's gone like the digital side. Like no one's like writing down, this is what I want for Christmas and
Amazon wish list.
Amazon wish list, man. You can pull me up right now on Amazon wish list and be like, yeah, this guy's super boring. But it's like I love here you go. Here's 2 plugs. I love Stance socks. I love Sax underwear. I've got like 2 different colognes that I rotate through. And then there's buckets of bungee cords, and they're like, your list is so lame. I'm like, it's stuff that I love. It's like it's me.
You love bungee cords?
I use them all the time, man.
Bro.
Come on now. I literally keep a small bucket in the bed of my truck. You just never know when you're gonna need them, or tie down straps or whatever. And Haley, literally last night, this is so on point because she was like, I was just on your Amazon list. Super lame list. I'm like, what? Like, what do you want me to put on there? Like toys? Like, come on now. But don't get me wrong. I get to enjoy the toys. Like,
with your kids.
There's more Hot Wheels tracks that are going to be under the tree this year than there should be. Because I'm like,
no, there always should
be.
Like,
bro, this, and Beckham is just like, he is me 2.0, and Maddie as well. Like, they'll be in there and I'll like build out a track that has like a jump and a loop, and they're like, whoa, and I'm like, yes, like let's go. So in my late teens, early 20s, that's when I kind of started to, when you would get something for somebody and you would just watch them like completely get up for it is awesome. But now being a father,
yes,
it's cranked up to friggin' 12,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Break the knob, it's on 12, because when you get that excitable energy and they're like, oh my gosh, oh, and you're just like, yes, let's go.
They get the shake.
Oh, bro.
Like anybody that doesn't have kids that's watching this, if you see a kid go, oh, it's so good, thanks.
Yeah. Undies.
That is like 1 on the Richter scale of child.
Something happened.
You get them, like I've seen it to where they're
Nerf
speechless, where they're like, and you're like, all right, we did it. Or they're just jumping up and down. You're like, don't step on the gift.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It would be bad.
Beckham. So Beckham has, he doesn't know this yet, but I picked him up a basketball hoop that, discount of the year. Found one online, and I was like, like the Black Friday sale was like down to like $400. I was like,
yeah,
I'm going to use it as much as he does. I still love the hoop. It'll be good for the backyard. It goes like down to 6 feet and all the way up to 10.
Nice.
And then I was like, let's just go on Facebook Marketplace. Yuba City, exact same hoop, Spalding, fiberglass, 54-inch backboard, like $190.
You're all done.
I was like, I messaged the guy. I was like, hey, what kind of shape is it? He's like, a great shape. Bought it for my kids last year, and they're all soccer players. Like, they played on it like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, can I come see it?
They were
He's
kicking
like,
the ball.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, yeah. So I went by the next day. I was like, yep, don't have an opportunity to move it today. Here's the money. Hold on to it and just delete the post. He's like, sweet, thanks. Incredible guy.
Love it.
So then later that week and this last weekend, picked it up, have it stored right now at my father-in-law's house.
Nice.
And then Christmas morning, I'm going to inflate a new basketball for Beckham. And then Beckham is going to open that up and be like, oh, basketball. Oh, that'd be so cool. I'm like, man, if only we had a hoop. Bro. And there's gonna be a hoop in the backyard with a bow in it.
And what you don't know is he's one of the active listeners of this podcast.
Beckham, you turn this off right now. Beckham's on his iPad, like, oh yeah.
He's like, yeah, I get to learn a lot about dad this way.
That's awesome. Beckham, you should be in class right now. I'm calling.
That's it. You're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Oh, that's amazing.
What about yourself? What is a awesome? And maybe we'll get into the reading of Christmas next week.
We can do that. Yeah,
on
fine,
Wednesday. Yeah. But before we close, give me just either an awesome memory or opportunity or something that you think back with you and your boys for Christmas, or what's like a oh my gosh memory that's absolutely worth mentioning.
There's so many.
Yeah.
So my kids are, like you said, they're mini-me's, right? So mine are very nerdy. We're hobbits. We stay in the Shire.
We are hobbits.
Okay.
We are hobbits.
We don't travel to Mordor.
Yep.
That's for those. Those are for
everyone's like, what just happened right there?
Oh my goodness. So
give me one. Think on it first.
I am thinking about it. Oh, okay. So David was obsessed with trains. Mm-hmm. He was 3. He loved trains, and we were looking around. And those train sets, man, you start getting tabletop train sets.
Oh yeah.
There are children that play with trains, and then there's adult men that have a large hobby, and they build trains. And you're like, oh, okay.
Quick plug: Western Depot. If you are one of those adults like me, local company Western Depot on Sierra Avenue in Yuba City. Go check them out. They're actually the largest indoor train retailer in the state of California. It's right here in Yuba City. So if you are wanting to get your model train on, Western Depot, Yuba City, Sierra Avenue.
Not sponsored by.
But
Western Depot.
I'm going to call him now and he's better sponsor this episode.
Gave you a shout out. No, so we got it. And so we I mean, it was like an IKEA type setup.
Yeah.
We ended up building the whole thing out. We're building it. He's totally conked out. We build this whole thing up. We set it up in the room. We got all the trains and everything up. And we wrap it just with a giant bag where he can come up to it and just stick his hand through.
Oh, yeah.
Slice down.
Yep.
And he walked over to it and he's like, what's this? I said, oh, it's your present. He goes, oh, it's a big present. I said, yeah, man. He goes over, he opens it. Trains! Just running. He grabs 2 trains off the top and goes, I got trains!
You're like, oh, be careful.
And he was just, he sat at that thing. My oldest has the ability, if he likes something, he'll sit there for 3-4 hours.
Lock in.
Just go. I'm like, dude, you have a brain. We get him a Lego set, it's over within. He's like building it, and he'll sit there. What about the other gift? Nope, Legos. And he'll finish it no matter how large it is.
My nephew Declan, Chris's son, he has that ability to just kind of like turn everything else off. He's probably going to be an engineer. He just got, sounds like David as well.
Absolutely.
He's just got like one of those brains he could just like shut everything else off and build out. And Declan, when he was like, he's 10 now, and he was like 6 and 7 years old, he was building Lego kits that say like 14 and up, 16 and up, like Millennium Falcons. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, like I would have, like me at 7 in 2nd grade, that wasn't going to happen.
I think one of the memories that sticks up for me that's not my kids was when I was dating Regina. When we were dating, it was our first Christmas together, and she was
this is circa 08?
Circa 08, yeah. Well, yeah, no. So we dated in July of 2007. So...
Oh, yeah, may have been 07.
Yeah, it was 07. So we're there, and we're hanging out. We're spending a lot of time together, and it's our first Christmas together, and her family very much on lists. I'm about to snitch on myself. I'm not an Amazon wish list guy. I'm like a...
Get out.
Nah.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Well, and it's because...
No, I get it.
I pick it up local if I need it, but I also, Amazon, I don't care. Like, I live within my means, and if I really want something...
You're just going to go get it. No,
I'm just going to go get it.
Same.
So I'm kind of like...
My family gives me a hard time because they're like, add things to your list. I'm like, I don't need anything. Like, I promise I don't need anything.
Yeah, I got
like,
it.
If there's a way, like, I could have, like a happy family and healthy kids, I can't put that on my Amazon wish list. Like, put something on there. I'm like, okay, Traeger seasonings.
So then you put on there happy wife and happy kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And then another family you open. You're like, what?
Yeah, what are you doing here?
That's the weirdest gift ever.
Where are your passports? What are you doing here?
So anyway, so we're there. I go
and
I hear her talking about something constantly. And it was a specific, I want to say it was a necklace. She was talking about, and it was a passive thing. I was like, oh, we're walking through. And you know how you do the seating when you're first dating. You're like, hey, you like that? And she's like, yeah, I think I like that.
Noted.
So I said, I like your necklace that you're wearing. She goes, yeah, I got it when I was 16. I was like, oh, and it was like a leather band, and it had like a puka shell on it, but it was from apparently a mission trip she helped out on. And I was like, oh, 16, huh? She goes, yeah. I was like, you like necklaces? She said, no one really ever gets me necklaces. I was like, oh, and I kind of data bank.
Yep.
Right. So I see this.
Rainy day.
So I see a snowflake. This is really pretty. It was her favorite color. She's aquamarine, so it had an aquamarine on it, and it was silver. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna totally get this. So I see it, grab it right off the get. Cool. Wrap it up. Which is, I mean, jewelry. Dating somebody for 6 months, most people would be like, don't
do it.
That's a commitment. That is like,
yep.
Right. And I was like, all right. So I got it.
And you start there. Where are you going to end, man? I mean, you're building it up. It's going to,
I'm right here.
Sorry, Regina.
So I get it for her. And so I was like, hey, I think you're going to like this. So they go through and, they go through the gifts, and my mom got her some gifts as well. And I was like, hey, I got you a gift as well. She goes, well, what'd you give me? I was like, here. And we went out on the patio, and I was just like, I want attention on this. So I hand it to her, and she opens it up, and she starts tearing. She goes, nobody has ever thought of me like this. Nobody's actually like, wow, you noticed something that I liked and you didn't ask me what it was. You just did it. And I went, yeah, I see you. And she just started crying. We had this beautiful moment.
Ah, that's awesome.
But that is one of those things to me.
That's awesome.
When
I see you.
I see you.
That's where it's at.
Right? And I think that's right. That's the point of gifts. When you're giving somebody a gift, it's, I see you. It's not, hey, you needed this.
Yeah. Hey, it was on your list, so anyone publicly could know that you wanted it. I just clicked add to cart. Yeah, I totally agree. When you can go, and like I mentioned earlier, like the thing that I got Chris that he'll open up his birthday.
Oh, dude,
is a non-list something that he's going to freak out over.
That's amazing.
Those are the best kind of gifts.
Love it, man.
I love you, bro.
Dude, I love you too.
Merry
man.
Christmas, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this one today. Just Joe and I sitting back talking about some Christmas memories, some Christmas history. Please, you guys continue to like, share, subscribe, and more than anything, guys, we want this podcast to be a living, breathing thing.
Absolutely.
And we want you guys to chime in. If you watched this, if you enjoyed it, hit us in the comment section. We want to hear your top 3 movies and make it some good ones, because the good Lord knows that I probably do have a fourth. I haven't thought of it yet. So Merry Christmas, guys. We love y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for checking out the Cam and Joe Show.
If you guys are liking our content so far, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also listen to us on Spotify.